Hi, I'm Anthony Moss, and I would like to be your next president. A little bit about myself. I was born in the Nicetown section of North Philadelphia on March 14, 1983. I came up during the crack epidemic of the 80s and 90s. I had very protective parents who went out of their way to protect myself and my younger brother from the crime and the violence that was present in the streets. As a result, much of my childhood experiences, like playing outside and going to friends' houses, were very limited. I was cocooned, if you will. Despite my parents' best efforts to protect me, I was still exposed to much of the crime and violence that the city had to offer. From my bedroom window, I would hear gunshots at night. Every now and then, I would see a fight break out and would even end in a shooting. There have been individuals who have been stabbed right in front of our doorstep. Prostitutes were always around Hunting Park along Old York Road, so I wasn't allowed to go to the park unattended. During much of my youth, I was surrounded by alcoholics, crack and coke addicts, and occasionally heroin addicts as well. Drug addiction was so serious that you literally could not take a step anywhere without stepping on a bunch of crack vials, and in some cases, use syringes, which is probably why I have OCD. As a youth, I used to get into fights almost every day, despite my best efforts to avoid them. I've been robbed before. I've had shots fired over me towards whomever they intended the target was. Thank you, by the way, for not shooting me. In one situation, my father had to shoot past me at a guy who was trying to break into our house through the back door. The final straw was when my mother drove my brother and myself past the car that was on fire. At the beginning, it just seemed like a car that was on fire. But eventually we found out that there was a person who had been murdered, stuffed in the trunk, and then the car was set on fire. All of this took place in my youth. Wanting a better future and lifestyle for my brother and myself, my parents moved us to Tampa, Florida. So I left all of my friends behind at Gillespie Junior High School in Philly and picked up school at Slide Junior High in Tampa. I went on to go to Van Buren Middle School, Tampa Bay Tech High School, and King High School, where I eventually graduated. After high school, I returned to Philadelphia to try to make a life for myself. There was nothing for me in the city, so I returned back to Tampa, Florida, where I eventually met my wife. I struggled working low-paying jobs. In my efforts to survive, I moved from job to job, chasing better wages, and as a result, I was deemed unstable to employers who potentially could have offered me a career. After years of struggling, I went into business for myself in the security field. I quickly learned how cutthroat that industry is, even within my own camp. I attended and graduated from the police academy, class 906 out of HCC and E-Board. Again, my unstable work history came back and bit me. I went into the U.S. Army in my late 20s. I aspired to be a high-speed individual, but an injury cut my military career short. I was medically discharged honorably, but before getting out, I acquired my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I've had an additional surgery and some procedures performed, which eventually allowed me to be able to walk semi-normally. I went back to school to obtain my associate's degree as a registered nurse. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish my nursing school due to some things that was going on at the time. I would love to return to nursing school, as I discovered that taking care of my patients was something that I really loved doing. While I wait for the opportunity to return to nursing school, I returned to working as a security officer. Originally, my goals were to return to Philadelphia to become a police officer so that I could make the streets safer, so that the youth of the future wouldn't have to go through the things that I went through in my past. But my injury from the military pretty much eliminated my chances of becoming a police officer or doing anything in law enforcement. But my love for helping people still remains, and that shined when I was a student nurse taking care of patients in the hospital. I started looking into issues that were plaguing people across America. Philadelphia wasn't the only place that needs help. My patients in the hospitals weren't the only people who need help. I could help more people if I somehow was able to shoot straight to the top. Although it had crossed my mind in my younger years, I decided that I would run for president of the United States. I could help so many people from that platform. I've lived the life of the average American, something that many of these politicians who are in these offices can't say. I don't come from a wealthy background. I know how the job market really is. I know the struggle of being a veteran and not being able to get the benefits that I rightfully deserve. I know the struggle of not having health care. I know the struggle trying to survive on low wages. And every election season, I see these politicians who don't have a clue of what it's really like to be an average American citizen go on television and make all these promises that they won't keep. But instead of complaining about it, I decided to do something about it. And so I'm running for president of the United States. There are many struggles that we as Americans go through, and there are many more struggles that a lot of people out there are struggling with. Who is going to properly represent us? It's not going to be the elected officials that are in office now. Instead of watching this country become a nation that's falling apart and dividing, I say we do something to bring this country together and unite us as one. That way we can truly be one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all of American citizens. I'm ready for this fight, America.